Your thoughts are not always yours. How to protect your mind from spiritual parasites. The invisible intruders of the mind. Have you ever caught yourself thinking something, and felt, deep down, that the thought wasn't truly yours? A sudden flash of anger, a whisper of despair, a self-destructive urge that appears out of nowhere, alien, unwelcome, and strange. Like a shadow slithering through your mind, cloaked in your own voice. What if I told you, not all thoughts that arise within you are born from you? In the ancient mystery schools of Egypt and India, and in the teachings of Gnostic sages and Sufi mystics, it was known, the mind is not a closed garden, it is an open field. And in that field, unseen forces often plant their seeds. These forces have been called many names. In the Vedic scriptures, they are asuras, entities of confusion and darkness. In Gnostic writings, they are archons, mind parasites feeding on fear and ignorance. Modern mystics speak of thought forms, egregores, and psychic attachments. Whatever their name, their nature is the same. They infiltrate the human mind, disguise themselves as your own thoughts, and slowly shape your reality, often toward chaos, fear, or limitation. But there is good news, they can be recognized. They can be resisted. And they can be removed. In this video, we will journey through the hidden landscapes of consciousness, exploring the nature of these spiritual parasites, how they enter, how they influence, and most importantly, how you can shield your sacred mind from their reach. The truth is ancient. The danger is real. And the time to awaken, is now. Let us begin. The nature of spiritual parasites, what they are and how they operate. To understand how to protect your mind, you must first understand what you're up against. Spiritual parasites are not creatures of flesh and blood. They do not crawl upon the earth, nor can they be seen with physical eyes. They dwell in the liminal spaces, between thoughts, behind emotions, beneath awareness. They are energetic entities, or more precisely, consciousness parasites. They feed not on your body, but on your vital life force, your attention, your emotions, and above all, your beliefs. In the ancient Gnostic texts, particularly the Nag Hammadi scriptures, these beings were called archons, non-physical entities that operate through deception. According to Gnostic teacher John Lash, author of Not in His Image, the archons cannot create reality, so they twist it. Their only weapon is illusion, suggesting thoughts that appear to be your own, steering your perception without you realizing it. Like a virus that needs a host, these entities cannot survive without the energy of a living mind. And so, they mimic your inner voice. They whisper thoughts laced with fear, doubt, shame, and division. If you accept them, they grow stronger. A classic sign of their influence is the sudden onset of irrational or repetitive thinking, especially thoughts that degrade your self-worth, provoke fear, or incite conflict. You may feel off, disoriented, or strangely heavy. That's not random, it's a feeding frenzy. They especially thrive in moments of emotional vulnerability, grief, anger, heartbreak, addiction, even boredom. In these states, your energetic defenses weaken, and the gates to your mind swing open. But here is the secret they don't want you to know. They cannot enter without your permission. It may be subtle, a moment of distraction, a lapse in awareness, but it is always your attention that invites them in. And just as you can let them in, you can also cast them out. Next, we will uncover the ancient signs and modern symptoms of psychic invasion, so you may learn to recognize when your mind is no longer entirely your own. Recognizing the signs, when your thoughts are not your own. The most dangerous parasite is the one you don't know is there. To the untrained eye, a spiritual parasite hides in plain sight, disguised as just another passing thought, a mood swing, a bad day. But to the awakened mind, there are patterns, symptoms, and signs that reveal the presence of an intruder. 1. Sudden negative thought loops. Have you ever noticed a single dark thought spiraling into hours of mental noise? What began as a whisper of worry becomes a raging inner monologue of fear, blame, or despair. It feels compulsive, inescapable, and completely absorbing. This looping is not natural. It's manufactured. Parasitic entities amplify certain emotional frequencies, especially fear, guilt, and shame, because they feed on your emotional reaction. The more you feel, the more you think. The more you think, the more you feed. 2. Intrusive thoughts with alien qualities. You might hear a voice in your mind say, "I'm worthless, nothing matters," or even worse. But listen closely, not just to the content, but to the tone. Does it sound like you? Or is it cold, unfamiliar, or strangely persistent? In Sufism, these are called waswasa, whispers of shayateen, or shadow beings, that project thoughts into the heart of man. In modern terms, these are intrusions, not born of your soul, but placed there by an external presence. 3. Emotional contagion without cause. You wake up heavy, anxious, enraged. Yet nothing happened. No trigger. No event. Just a sudden shift in your inner weather. Spiritual parasites often manipulate emotional fields, much like a storm manipulates the sea. They stir waves of emotion to keep you reactive, distracted, and energetically leaky. 4. Compulsive behaviors that don't feel you. You might find yourself pulled toward addictions, toxic patterns, or self-sabotage, even when your higher self is screaming, "No." This internal conflict, this sense of being hijacked, is a clear sign of energetic interference. Carl Jung once wrote, "People don't have ideas. Ideas have people." Sometimes, those ideas were never truly yours. 5. Disconnection from self and source. Lastly, one of the most devastating effects of parasitic influence is spiritual numbness. You lose touch with your intuition. Your joy fades. Meditation becomes impossible. You feel adrift, hollow. This is not coincidence, it's conquest. The parasite's goal is not just to invade, but to replace the real you with a fragmented echo. But here lies the paradox: the very moment you begin to notice, is the moment you begin to reclaim power. In the next section, we will explore how these entities gain access, the hidden doorways in your consciousness they slip through, often unnoticed. Only when you know how the thief enters, can you begin to seal the gates. The gateways, how these entities enter the mind. A fortress cannot be invaded without an opening. And your mind, your sacred citadel of thought, is no different. Spiritual parasites do not force their way in. They are opportunists. They wait for doors to open, for cracks to appear in your awareness. And often, these cracks are not obvious. They are woven into daily life, into emotion, trauma, and even your search for meaning. Let us walk through the most common gateways, the hidden openings through which these entities gain entry. 1. Unresolved trauma. Every unhealed wound becomes a doorway. When pain is not processed, when grief is buried, or fear denied, it forms a pocket of stagnant energy. This stagnation is fertile ground for energetic invaders. In shamanic traditions, it is said that trauma causes a soul split, a loss of vital essence. Where the soul retracts, something else can slip in. 2. Chronic negative emotion. The more often you dwell in anger, despair, jealousy, or self-hate, the more you attune to the frequency of parasites. It is not the feeling itself that invites them, it is the repetition, the obsession, the identification. Think of your emotions as music. Light attracts harmony. Darkness breeds distortion. And parasites are drawn to distortion like moths to flame. 3. Addictive patterns. Addiction, whether to substances, devices, relationships, or thoughts, creates energetic dependency. These loops weaken your sovereignty. They scatter your will. And when your will is scattered, you become suggestible, open to foreign influence. In the ancient Vedic texts, this state is known as tamas, the quality of darkness, inertia, and confusion. It is the preferred terrain of subtle intruders. 4. Mindlessness and disconnection. A distracted mind is an undefended mind. Endless scrolling, unconscious routines, constant noise, these strip your awareness and place you on autopilot. And spiritual parasites love autopilot. Why? Because when you are not present, someone else can take the wheel. 5. Spiritual pride and ego inflation. This is perhaps the most deceptive doorway. When one begins to awaken, there is a danger of identifying with the light, believing oneself immune, chosen, or superior. This illusion of spiritual mastery becomes a blind spot, and parasites exploit it expertly. As the Tao Te Ching warns, he who boasts is not enlightened. In Tibetan Buddhism, they speak of Mara, the tempters of the path, who appear more frequently the closer one comes to truth. So beware, even the light can cast a shadow. And in that shadow, entities wait. But do not despair. For just as there are gateways in, there are also guardians within. Next, we will unveil the tools of ancient wisdom, the practices, protections, and presence that fortify your inner sanctuary. You do not need to fight. You only need to remember who you are. Protection and sovereignty, how to shield your mind and reclaim your space. In the world of spirit, sovereignty is everything. A mind aligned with truth, anchored in presence, and shielded by awareness is impenetrable. No parasite, no matter how cunning, can take root where the light of consciousness burns bright. Protection is not about fear. It is about remembrance. You are not a passive vessel. You are a temple. A fortress. A flame. Here are the ancient ways, refined across centuries, across continents, by mystics, monks, and sages who knew, to master the mind is to master your reality. 1. The power of witnessing. Awareness is the first and greatest shield. The moment you observe a thought without identifying with it, its power over you dissolves. This is the essence of many Eastern practices, from Buddhist Vipassana to yogic dharana, observe without attachment. When a dark thought arises, ask, is this mine? Does this reflect my true self? Or is it a foreign presence, wearing a familiar mask? As the ancient Upanishads teach, you are not the mind. You are the witness of the mind. 2. Energetic hygiene. Just as you wash your body, cleanse your energy. Smudging with sage, Palo Santo, or frankincense can clear stagnant fields. Salt baths purify the aura and release attachments. Chanting sacred mantras, like Om, Gayatri, or the Hebrew Kadash, resonates with divine frequencies that repel lower entities. Do this especially after conflict, emotional release, or exposure to negativity. 3. Daily grounding and centering. Parasitic thought forms thrive in scattered energy. The more grounded you are, the less access they have. Each morning, visualize roots extending from your feet deep into the earth. Feel her pull, steady, silent, and ancient. Let her hold you. As the Taoists say, he who is rooted in the Tao is unmoved by the winds of illusion. 4. Invoke the guardians. You are not alone in this world. There are higher intelligences, beings of light and wisdom, that respond to your call. Invoke Archangel Michael for protection. Call upon your ancestral guides. Pray to the divine in whatever form speaks to your soul. But remember, you must ask. As Hermetic law teaches, as above, so below. As within, so without. 5. Set the command. Your word is law in your realm. At least once a day, speak this or a similar affirmation aloud. Only thoughts aligned with my highest truth may enter my mind. All others are banished by the light of my awareness. The spoken word is power. In ancient Egypt, this was known as Heka, sacred utterance that shapes reality. When you command, the unseen must obey. 6. Limit psychic drain. Avoid energetic entanglements. Set boundaries. Choose your environments with care. Not everyone, not everything, deserves access to your mind. As the mystic G.I. Gurdjieff taught, guard your attention as you would guard your breath. Because what you give your attention to, becomes your world. Final reflection, remembering who you are beyond thought. There is a silence beneath your thoughts. A presence untouched by fear, unshaken by illusion. It does not judge, it does not react, it simply is. And that, is you. Not the thoughts you think, not the emotions you feel, not even the beliefs you hold. You are the stillness behind them all. The sky, not the storm. The flame, not the flicker. The witness. The awareness. The eternal one. Spiritual parasites lose all power the moment you truly remember this. For their game is one of forgetting. Forgetting your sovereignty. Forgetting your divinity. Forgetting your infinite stillness, masked behind the noise of the world. The Sufi mystic Rumi once wrote, "You were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life? These entities want you to crawl, bound by false narratives, entranced by illusions, chasing thoughts that were never yours to begin with. But when you sit in the stillness, when you observe without attachment, when you remember that you are the one watching the movie, not the character in it, they vanish. Like shadows before the sun. This is not just defense. This is transcendence. You are not here to fight shadows. You are here to embody light. So let your life be a lighthouse. Let your presence be a sword. Let your mind become a sacred temple, guarded by awareness and filled only with what is true. Because in the end, no parasite, no intruder, no whisper of darkness can stand against a soul that remembers itself. You are the gate. You are the guardian. You are the key. And now, you know.